Tron Runner is a color-soaked trip through the grid, a high-speed chase from malicious programs, or something along those lines. I'm not quite caught up on all of the terminology, having fallen asleep early on in the original film, but I did make it all the way through the sequel. Tron Runner is a great tribute to the world and the feel of Tron, while offering fun and addictive gameplay that works on many levels. Tron Runner is, as it says in the title, a runner. This means that your character is constantly pushing forward, and you just navigate obstacles and destroy enemies. Through the game's 3 modes, you will run, jump, slide, drift, grind, wall run, glide, shoot, dodge, and backflip your way through 32 set levels and a randomly generated endless stage. Control is great, and your character of choice moves as you think they should, all with finesse and style. While it takes a few turns to really figure out what generates points for you, it's still fun to play whether or not you're speeding like a pro or just stumbling through. The main draw of the game is the disc mode. This holds the true runner gameplay. Before dropping in, you may choose a power-up and companion at the expense of in-game currency, called bits, which you will also collect as you play. The goal is to earn as many points as possible by earning a combo of these bits, but you will also earn points by navigating obstacles and destroying enemies. Not only are you constantly doing new things in the disc mode, but it also gives you options. Will you destroy barriers or dodge around them? Maybe some combination of both. Are you going for a long combo or trying to obliterate everything in your path? The disc mode is fun and entertaining and is really the meat and potatoes of the game. Less substantial, but still pretty fun, is the cycle mode. On your light cycle, you race through a superhighway collecting bits and moving through time-up barriers. The cycle mode is a time trial and plays like a kart racer but just with no weapons. This mode took me a while to find the appeal in, but I eventually learned to really enjoy it. It's simpler than the disc mode and doesn't really give you any options. As time is tight, there is really only one path to move on, since you must continually move through barriers to add time to the clock. It is definitely the easier of the 2 main modes. And finally, there is the stream mode, which is an endless stage that alternates between the disc and cycle portions. Its sections are generated randomly and can go on forever, and you can apparently even challenge friends to see who can go the furthest, but I was unable to test this feature. While I think this probably would have been the most appealing mode of the bunch, there are some issues either with my internet connection or the server that generates the stages, as the gameplay was choppier and the stage sometimes loaded late, causing my death several times. Also, the cycle portions last much longer than they should, leaving the mode feeling disproportionate. Visually, the game is obviously a treat. There aren't mind-blowing textures or crazy amounts of things on screen at once, but the art style is distinct and the game runs great at a solid frame rate. Only the stream sections ever showed a sign of stuttering, but as I mentioned before, it could have been my poor internet connection causing that. Character selection includes classic characters that I'm pretty sure I recognize from the original Tron film, including Jeff Bridges. You can also change every character's light color, which is a great touch. I wish there was more character variety or more representation from the newer film, but I wouldn't be surprised if more were added later as DLC. The sound is perfectly fine, but not mind-blowing. The sound effects are the standout, as running through and destroying the grid has a lot of different pops and bangs. There's even a police scanner style voiceover that speaks in robotic tones as you play. She sounds a bit like Gladys from Portal, but without the sass. Fortunately, she says different things and doesn't get old, but it's also easy enough to just tune her out as well. The music goes from unnoticeable to good. There aren't any standout tracks, but nothing obnoxious either. It's pretty standard affair. Ultimately, with Tron Runner, I really enjoyed the minute-to-minute gameplay, but my biggest issue with it is a moral one. I felt that for certain levels, I could not get more than 1 star no matter how good my run was. Even if I comboed from start to finish, I usually found that I'd have to pay for a power-up with in-game currency to get the full 3 stars. The power-ups I used never really made anything easier, but simply put a multiplier on my run to enable me to get a higher score. And of course, if you don't have enough of the in-game currency, you can pay for some with microtransactions. I was always able to earn enough bits for my purposes, but if used wrong, you could definitely end up dumping some real money into it. As long as you play conservatively, there should be no issues, but I felt it was worth mentioning anyways. I really like Tron Runner. I'm excited to see what DLC comes out and also to continue playing the stream mode. I hope they add more specific challenges to the game in the future and place less emphasis on needing power-ups to achieve high scores. This is great arcade fun and is good to play for a few minutes or several hours. It will appeal to fans of Tron and those who have never heard of the license before. Tron Runner is currently available on the PlayStation 4 and PC.